In the shadowed corners of our planet, where humanity's footprint is but a fleeting whisper, ancient rivalries play out. We often ponder the lion against the tiger, or the great white against the orca. Yet, there is a far older, more primal contest. It is a conflict written in the silent, suffocating language of constriction. So, we must ask the unasked question: if the two greatest serpents on Earth were to meet in a battle for supremacy, which would prevail? When the Green Anaconda, a titan of sheer mass, confronts the Reticulated Python, a marvel of unparalleled length, what terrible outcome would the laws of nature dictate? This is not a simple query of which is stronger. It is a deep dive into the very mechanics of life and death, shaped by millions of years of evolution. The stage for this hypothetical clash is a world away from our own. It is a realm of damp earth and tangled roots, of murky waters and stifling humidity. Here, survival is not a given. It is earned through brutal efficiency. The combatants are not mere animals. They are living embodiments of evolutionary perfection. The anaconda represents the pinnacle of crushing power, a creature built for overwhelming force. The python, in contrast, is a master of reach and strategic envelopment, a living lattice of muscle and scale. To truly understand this contest, we must peel back the layers of myth and witness the raw, biological truth of these magnificent predators, examining their every anatomical and behavioral advantage. This is a showdown between two distinct philosophies of predation, honed in vastly different ecosystems. One is a creature of the water, a semi-aquatic behemoth that uses the liquid environment to its advantage, masking its immense bulk until the moment of ambush. The other is a denizen of forests and riverbanks, a more terrestrial hunter whose incredible length allows it to bridge gaps and secure prey with astonishing reach. The confrontation forces us to consider which evolutionary path yields the ultimate constrictor. Is it the path of consolidated heavyweight power, or the path of elongated tactical length? The answer is etched into their very DNA, waiting to be deciphered through a careful study of their biomechanics and hunting strategies. The fascination with such a battle stems from a primal human curiosity about ultimate power in the natural world. These serpents are as close to mythical dragons as our world offers. They are apex predators that command their respective domains with an authority born of immense physical capability. To imagine them in conflict is to imagine a force of nature meeting an equal and opposite force. It is a collision of titans that would shake the very foundations of their shared habitat. The encounter would be a silent, terrifying ballet of muscle, scale, and instinct, a testament to the brutal elegance of nature's design. We are compelled to explore this scenario, not for sport, but for the profound biological insights it reveals about survival and dominance. The Green Anaconda, Unectes murinus, is a name that rightfully inspires a deep and primal awe. She is the undisputed queen of the neotropical wetlands, a creature of breathtaking mass and power. While not the longest snake in the world, she is by a significant margin the heaviest. An adult female can exceed 550 pounds, a dense concentration of muscle and bone that has no equal in the serpentine world. This immense girth is her primary weapon and her defining characteristic. It is the engine behind a crushing force so immense that it can extinguish the life from a caiman or a capybara within minutes. Her body is a living hydraulic press, designed for one purpose: to overwhelm and to dominate through sheer brute force. Her domain is the slow-moving rivers and swamps of the Amazon and Orinoco basins. Here, she is a master of aquatic ambush. The anaconda's eyes and nostrils are positioned on the top of her head, allowing her to lie almost completely submerged, a barely perceptible presence in the murky water. She is a patient hunter, waiting for days or even weeks for the perfect opportunity. When an unsuspecting tapir or deer comes to the water's edge to drink, she strikes with explosive speed. Her recurved teeth are not for chewing, but for anchoring, securing a grip so she can bring her most formidable weapon, her body, into play, initiating the terrifying process of constriction. The anaconda's evolutionary strategy is one of energy conservation and overwhelming power. Her massive frame requires significant sustenance, but it also allows her to take down exceptionally large prey. After a substantial meal, such as a white-tailed deer, she may not need to eat again for many months. This lifestyle is perfectly adapted to the seasonal floods and fluctuating food availability of her environment. Her body is a fortress of muscle, thicker and more robust in proportion to its length than any other snake. This density is not just for show, it translates directly into constrictive pressure, a suffocating embrace from which very few animals can ever hope to escape. In our hypothetical battle, the anaconda's weight would be her greatest asset. It provides the anchor and the raw power needed to establish and maintain a killing coil. Her movements are often perceived as slow and ponderous on land, but this is a deception. In the water, she is graceful and powerful, capable of surprising bursts of speed. An encounter with the python would likely see the anaconda attempting to leverage this mass immediately, aiming to pin and immobilize her rival. She is not a creature of intricate maneuvering. She is a specialist in absolute, overpowering force, a living testament to the evolutionary advantage of being the heaviest and strongest predator in the water. From the rainforests and woodlands of Southeast Asia emerges a different kind of titan. The reticulated python, Malaopython reticulatus, holds the undisputed title of the world's longest snake. Verified records document individuals stretching over 25 feet, with some historical accounts suggesting even greater lengths. This incredible elongation is the cornerstone of its evolutionary success. Where the anaconda is a heavyweight brawler, the python is a strategic outranger, a creature whose very form is a weapon of tactical advantage. Its body is a marvel of biological engineering, a slender yet immensely powerful cord of muscle that allows for unparalleled reach and a unique style of envelopment. This length is not just a record, it is a key to its predatory dominance. The python's name comes from the beautiful and complex geometric pattern on its skin, a reticulated network of colors that provides it with superb camouflage. This allows it to disappear amongst the leaf litter of the forest floor or the tangled branches of the canopy. Unlike the more aquatic anaconda, the reticulated python is a highly adaptable hunter, equally at home on the ground, in the trees, or in the water. This versatility has allowed it to colonize a wide range of habitats across its archipelago home, from dense jungles to riverbanks and even into the fringes of urban areas. It is a survivor and an opportunist, a testament to the success of a more flexible and adaptable body plan. The python's hunting strategy is one of precision and speed, followed by strategic constriction. Its incredible length allows it to strike from surprising distances, crossing gaps and catching prey off guard. Once it has seized its target, which can range from birds and primates to pigs and even small deer, its method of constriction is subtly different from the anaconda's. Rather than relying on sheer static pressure, the python is a master of dynamic coiling. Its longer, more flexible body can be thrown into multiple intricate loops with astonishing speed. It doesn't just crush, it envelops and smothers, finding and exploiting every available space to tighten its grip with each exhalation of its victim. In a confrontation with the anaconda, the python's length would be its defining advantage. It would allow it to potentially strike first from a safer distance, securing a bite without immediately entering the anaconda's powerhouse grappling range. Furthermore, its longer body could theoretically allow it to apply more coils, potentially wrapping the anaconda before the heavier snake can bring its full weight to bear in a consolidated squeeze. The python represents the evolutionary path of reach, speed, and tactical flexibility. It is a creature built not just to overpower, but to outmaneuver, a slender, elegant king whose rule is defined by its record-breaking and awe-inspiring length. The act of constriction is often misunderstood as a simple, brutal crushing of bones, The reality is far more sophisticated and terrifying. It is a precise and deadly application of biomechanical force, designed to induce circulatory arrest. When a constrictor snake coils around its prey, it's not trying to shatter its skeleton. Instead, it is monitoring the victim's heartbeat and respiration. With every exhalation, the prey's body slightly deflates, and the snake tightens its coils, systematically increasing the pressure. This process rapidly builds immense pressure around the thoracic cavity, preventing the heart from pumping blood. The brain is starved of oxygen, and unconsciousness, followed swiftly by death, is the result. The anaconda's method is a showcase of raw static power. Its immense girth and muscle density allow it to generate extraordinary pressure, estimated to be up to 90 pounds per square inch, equivalent to having a school bus parked on your chest. Once the anaconda establishes its primary coil, its sheer weight acts as an anchor, making it nearly impossible for the prey to dislodge or reposition. It is a slow, methodical, and inescapable squeeze. The anaconda's shorter, thicker body is perfectly designed for this kind of overwhelming, single-point pressure application. It finds a purchase and simply squeezes, relying on its unparalleled mass to do the lethal work with terrifying efficiency. The reticulated python's approach, dictated by its longer and more slender frame, is more dynamic and tactical. It doesn't just squeeze, it wraps. Its length allows it to throw multiple overlapping coils around its victim with incredible speed. This creates a cage of death that restricts movement on a much larger scale. The python can apply pressure from multiple angles simultaneously, a more complex and perhaps more efficient method of envelopment. This ability to quickly apply numerous loops could be a critical advantage. It can potentially immobilize a larger section of its opponent's body faster than the anaconda, which might be slower to bring its full, heavy coil into a dominant position. In a direct confrontation, this difference in constriction style would be the central axis of the battle. Would the anaconda's overwhelming concentrated pressure be able to neutralize the python before it can be fully enveloped, or would the python's superior length and rapid multi-coil wrapping technique successfully immobilize and suffocate the more powerful but slower-moving anaconda? It is a clash between two masterpieces of predatory engineering. One is a hydraulic press, the other a tightening net. The outcome would depend on which serpent could apply its unique, deadly science first, and most effectively in the chaotic, violent moments of the initial struggle. The location of this titanic struggle is not a trivial detail. It is a critical variable that could decisively tip the scales. Nature is never a featureless arena. The environment, its temperature, terrain, and composition, profoundly influences an animal's ability to fight and survive. If the battle were to take place in the deep, murky waters of a flooded Amazonian forest, the advantage would swing dramatically in favor of the green anaconda. Here, in her element, her immense weight becomes almost negligible. She can move with a surprising stealth and agility that she lacks on land, using the water to conceal her bulk and launch a devastating underwater ambush. In an aquatic environment, the anaconda's strategy would be clear. Drag the python into the water. The python is an able swimmer, but it is not the semi-aquatic specialist that the anaconda is. Underwater, the heavier snake could use its mass to control the engagement, pulling the python down and potentially drowning it even before constriction becomes the primary cause of death. The water would neutralize the python's agility and its ability to use the ground for leverage. The anaconda's adaptations, such as the placement of its eyes and nostrils, give it a massive sensory and tactical advantage in this liquid arena. On her home turf, the Empress of the Amazon would be a truly formidable and likely unbeatable opponent. Conversely, if the confrontation occurred on drier land, perhaps in a Bornean jungle with a thick undergrowth of roots and fallen trees, the dynamics would shift. Here, the anaconda's great weight becomes a liability. She would be slower, more ponderous, and her movements more labored. The reticulated python, more adapted to terrestrial locomotion, would be faster and more agile. It could use the complex terrain to its advantage, anchoring its tail to a tree root to gain leverage or using its superior length to bridge obstacles and strike from an unexpected angle. The solid ground provides the purchase needed for the python to execute its rapid, multi-coil wrapping strategy effectively. Ultimately, the battle's outcome hinges on this home field advantage. A fight in deep water favors the anaconda's crushing, waterborne tactics. A fight on firm ground favors the python's length, speed, and tactical flexibility. A neutral battleground, perhaps on a muddy riverbank, a transitional zone between both their preferred habitats, would create the most unpredictable and evenly matched scenario. Here, both titans would be out of their optimal element, forced to rely on their core strengths in a desperate struggle. The anaconda would try to pull the fight into the water, while the python would strive to keep it on land, making the initial seconds of the encounter a brutal tug-of-war for environmental dominance. Beyond the physical attributes of muscle and scale lies a more enigmatic battlefield, the serpent's mind. To dismiss these creatures as simple, instinct-driven automatons is a grave underestimation. While their intelligence is not comparable to that of a primate or a cetacean, they possess a sophisticated cognitive toolkit, honed for predation and survival. This includes problem-solving abilities, spatial memory, and a remarkable capacity to learn from past experiences. In a one-on-one confrontation, it would not just be a clash of bodies, but a contest of predatory cunning. The snake that better assesses the situation and adapts its strategy in the heat of battle gains a crucial, perhaps decisive edge. The reticulated python is often regarded by herpetologists as possessing a higher degree of what might be termed cognitive responsiveness. They exhibit complex behaviors in captivity, appearing to recognize their keepers and solving simple puzzles to obtain food. In the wild, their adaptability across diverse habitats suggests a flexible mind, capable of developing new hunting techniques for different prey and environments. This cognitive flexibility could translate into a tactical advantage. The python might be quicker to identify a weakness, to change its coiling strategy mid-fight, or to recognize an opportunity to disengage and re-engage from a more advantageous position, fighting a smarter fight. The anaconda, on the other hand, operates on a more primal and arguably more focused set of instincts. Its intelligence is channeled into the singular pursuit of the ambush. It demonstrates incredible patience, a form of strategic thinking in itself, and an uncanny ability to judge the precise moment to strike. Its mind is a finely tuned instrument for calculating risk versus reward, conserving energy until the probability of a successful kill is highest. In a fight, this might manifest as a less adaptable but more ruthlessly efficient approach. The anaconda may not improvise as much as the python, but it would commit to its core strategy, achieving a crushing grip with unwavering and terrifying resolve. Therefore, the battle becomes a fascinating psychological duel. Does the python's adaptable, problem-solving intelligence triumph over the anaconda's focused, primal cunning? The python might attempt to outwit the anaconda using feints and tactical repositioning. The anaconda, in turn, would rely on its unwavering instinct, waiting for that one critical mistake, that one moment of overextension from the python to bring its overwhelming power to bear. The mental endurance of each snake, its ability to persist through pain and exhaustion while maintaining tactical focus, would be tested to its absolute limit. The victor would be the one whose mind, as much as its body, did not break under the immense pressure of the conflict. The first moments of any predatory encounter are often the most critical, and this is especially true for constrictors. The initial strike is everything. It is not primarily intended to inflict damage, but to secure an anchor point from which the deadly process of coiling can begin. The morphology of the head and teeth of our two combatants reveals subtle but significant differences that would shape these crucial opening seconds. Both snakes possess rows of long, sharp, backward-curving teeth designed to hold on to struggling prey, but the delivery mechanism and strategic intent behind their strikes are distinct, tailored to their respective body plans and hunting styles. The reticulated python, with its longer and more slender neck, likely possesses a faster and longer-reaching strike. This allows it to act as a sharpshooter, lashing out from a distance to secure a bite before the opponent can close in. In a battle against the anaconda, the python's primary goal would be to land the first bite, likely targeting the anaconda's head or neck region. A successful head bite would be a game changer, potentially blinding the anaconda or controlling its most dangerous weapon. This would allow the python to begin its rapid coiling process while its opponent is disoriented and unable to effectively retaliate with its own bite, a clear tactical victory in the opening exchange. The Green Anaconda's strike is a different beast entirely. It is less about reach and more about explosive power from a close, concealed position. Its head is massive and its jaws are incredibly powerful, designed to latch onto large, strong animals and not let go. The anaconda's strike is the prelude to a full-body lunge, where it uses the momentum of its immense mass to immediately overpower and unbalance its target. Against the python, the anaconda would likely ignore a long-range engagement and instead attempt to close the distance immediately, hoping to land a devastating anchoring bite on the python's body, from which it could begin its methodical, bone-crushing squeeze. This clash of striking philosophies creates a tense scenario. The python must use its speed and reach to stay out of the anaconda's grappling range, looking for the perfect moment to execute a precise, disabling bite. The anaconda must weather the python's faster strikes or find a way to bypass them, seeking to turn the battle into a close-quarters power struggle where its weight and strength can dominate. The first snake to successfully land a meaningful bite and transition into its preferred method of constriction will have seized a powerful, perhaps irreversible, advantage. The entire battle could be won or lost in that first, violent, and decisive second of contact. We arrive at the central paradox of this epic confrontation, the interplay between length and mass. The reticulated python is the longest, a living ribbon of muscle that can measure over 7 meters. The green anaconda is the heaviest, a dense behemoth that can weigh over 250 kilograms. This presents a fascinating biomechanical puzzle. In a contest of constriction, which dimension is more critical? Is it the length that allows for more coils and greater envelopment? Or is it the mass that provides the raw power and anchoring stability for the squeeze? The answer is not straightforward and reveals the nuanced trade-offs inherent in evolutionary design. The python's length gives it a significant tactical advantage in initiating the wrap. A longer body can create more points of contact and apply pressure over a wider surface area more quickly. Imagine 2 ropes of the same thickness but different lengths being used to tie a struggling object. The longer rope can secure the object with more loops in less time. The python could theoretically out-wrap the anaconda, immobilizing its more powerful rival before the anaconda can bring its full, concentrated force to bear on a single point. This strategy of rapid envelopment is the python's best chance at neutralizing the anaconda's superior power-to-weight ratio. However, the anaconda's mass is a formidable weapon in its own right. Strength and constriction is directly related to the cross-sectional area of the snake's muscles, and the anaconda is proportionally much thicker than the python. This means that for any given section of its body, the anaconda can generate significantly more crushing force. Furthermore, its sheer weight makes it incredibly difficult to move or dislodge. If the anaconda can secure even a single, well-placed coil around the python, its superior static pressure and immovable mass could prove overwhelming. The anaconda's strategy is to turn the fight into a test of pure strength, a contest it is heavily favored to win. This is why exploring these questions is so critical for our understanding of the natural world, and for those who wish to delve deeper, the ongoing research documented in zoological journals and wildlife foundations offers a wealth of information. This creates a tense equilibrium. The python's success depends on speed, agility, and its ability to use its length to stay ahead in the wrapping race. The anaconda's success depends on its ability to weather the initial assault, close the distance, and bring its immense, concentrated power to bear. The fight becomes a question of whether the python's tactical speed can overcome the anaconda's raw strategic power. It is a perfect embodiment of a classic conflict. The agile martial artist versus the heavyweight powerlifter. The victor would be determined by which serpent could successfully impose its own style of combat upon the other. After all the analysis of muscle, mass, instinct, and environment, we are left suspended in a state of profound uncertainty. There can be no definitive winner declared in this hypothetical arena, because the battle itself highlights a deeper, unwritten law of nature. The anaconda and the python are not rivals in the wild. They are separated by vast oceans and continents, each having evolved in isolation to become the undisputed apex predator of its own domain. They are geographically exclusive, perfect solutions to different ecological problems. Their theoretical conflict is so compelling precisely because it would never happen. They are kings of separate kingdoms. This geographical separation is the most powerful testament to their evolutionary success. Each serpent is so perfectly adapted to its environment and so dominant within it that there has been no evolutionary pressure for them to compete. The anaconda rules the wetlands of South America with its crushing aquatic power. The python reigns over the forests of Southeast Asia with its adaptable length and camouflage. They are parallel triumphs of evolution, two different paths leading to the same summit of predatory perfection. To force them into conflict is to create a paradox, asking a question that nature itself has deemed unnecessary to answer. Their separation is, in itself, the resolution. The very idea of a winner is a human construct, an attempt to impose a simple hierarchy on a world that operates on a far more complex and interconnected logic. In nature, success is not about being the best in a vacuum. It is about being the best fit for a specific niche. The anaconda is the perfect anaconda. The python is the perfect python. Their respective greatness is defined by their context. To remove them from that context and pit them against each other is to miss the more profound lesson that nature's genius lies not in creating a single ultimate champion, but in its incredible diversity of specialized champions, each ruling its own world. And so, we are left not with an answer, but with a deeper appreciation for the forces that shape life on our planet. The true showdown is not between these two magnificent creatures, but between the evolutionary pressures that forged them. It is a contest between the ecological demands of a South American floodplain and a Southeast Asian jungle. The anaconda and the python are merely the living, breathing results of that contest. They stand as powerful, silent monuments to the unwritten law of nature. The true dominance is not found in a single victor, but in the perfect isolated mastery of one's own world. The most profound battles are not those that are fought, but those that evolution has wisely kept apart.